Morning, colleagues. This week, Congress is considering two pieces of legislation relating to Iran. The first undermines a diplomatic solution with Iran and lowers the bar for war. The second authorizes a war of choice against Iran and begins military preparations for it. With respect to H.Res. 568, which eliminates the most viable alternative to war, the House is expected to vote on this. I would urge members to read the resolution because Section 6 rejects any U.S. policy that would rely on efforts to contain nuclear weapons-capable Iran. Section 7 urges the President to reaffirm the unacceptability of an Iran with nuclear weapons capability and opposition to any policy that would rely on containment as an option in response to Iranian enrichment. Now, this language represents a significant shift in U.S. policy and would guarantee that talks with Iran, currently scheduled for May 23rd, would fail. Current U.S. policy is that Iran cannot acquire nuclear weapons. Instead, H.Res. 568 draws the red line for military action at Iran, achieving a nuclear weapons capability, a nebulous and undefined term that would include a civilian nuclear program. Indeed, it's likely that a negotiated deal to prevent a nuclear-armed Iran and to prevent war would provide for Iranian enrichment for peaceful purposes under the framework of the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons Treaty with strict safeguards and inspections. This language in this bill makes such a negotiated settlement impossible. At the same time, language lowers the threshold for attacking Iran. Countries with nuclear weapons capability could include many other countries like Japan or Brazil. It is an unrealistic threshold. Former Secretary of State Colin Powell has stated that this resolution, quote, this is an associate of Colin Powell, has stated that this resolution, quote, reads like the same sheet of music that got us into the Iraq War, unquote. Now, House Resolution 4310, the National Defense Authorization Act, authorizes war against Iran and preparing the military for it. I want to point out how this happens. While H.Res. 568 undermines our diplomatic efforts and lowers the bar for war, H.R. 4310, the NDAA, begins military preparations for war. Members ought to read this. Section 1221 makes military action against Iran a U.S. policy. Section 1222 directs our armed forces to prepare for war. Now, if you read these sections, you'll see that what I'm saying is true. Now, under subsection A, it says that Iran may soon attain a nuclear weapons capability, a development that would threaten the United States' interests, destabilize the region, encourage nuclear proliferation, and further empower and embolden Iran, and on and on. But the International Atomic Energy Agency, as well as the U.S. and Israeli intelligence, have all agreed that Iran does not currently have a nuclear bomb, is not building a nuclear weapon, and does not have any plans to do so. Both U.S. and Israeli officials also agree that a strike on Iran would only delay their nuclear program and actually encourage them to pursue nuclear weapons. Sustained diplomatic engagement with Iran is the only way to ensure transparency and to prevent a nuclear-armed Iran. Rejecting or thwarting any inspections-based deal we are currently seeking with Iran, even when analysts are expressing guarded optimism that a near-term deal is achievable, that all makes preemptive military action against Iran more likely. Now, could I ask how much I have left, Madam Speaker?
The gentleman has 1 minute remaining.
Okay, I just want to cite some provisions further. This is right from the bill. In order to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons, which they're not doing, the United States, in cooperation with its allies, must utilize all elements of national power, including diplomacy, robust economic sanctions, and credible, get this, visible preparations for a military option. Under Section 1222, where they talk about U.S. military preparedness, it talks of pre-positioning sufficient supplies of aircraft, munitions, fuel, and other materials for both air and sea-based missions. Under subsection B, it talks about maintaining sufficient naval assets in a region, get this, to launch a sustained sea and air campaign against a range of Iranian nuclear and military targets. Now, come on. We're getting ready for war against Iran. Why? I mean, we ought to have a broad debate about this other than just burying this section of a bill in the National Defense Authorization Act. We have plenty of evidence. There's no reason to go to war against Iran. We made the mistake in Iraq. Let's not make another one with Iran and set off World War III.